Good afternoon, traders and investors. Welcome to Monday, April 29th edition of Real Lives Trading Post Market Prep. Joel Elconin running solo today on time for a change. Latest update from Jeremy Alexander Newsom, and this guy's crazy. He says he's climbing up the Empire State Building right now. So, there we are. There's Mr. Newsom. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. I'm going to be a little bit more prompt today, and we're going to get through things here. We'll get through the S&Ps, make it an old time new high basis the cash, not the front much futures, but we'll get in that. We'll talk about that another time. Once again, your pre-market low, 2937.75. That was not touched during the regular session. Your regular session low, 2941 even. So once again, you're leaning on that pre-market low. As a stop out point, you never got stopped out. The high, 2951.50. Only a 14-point range. To say I had a level or a number up there would not be telling the truth. Nothing really in here as we get into at new old-time highs. The only thing I could say is, maybe someone had a target at 29.50. That's about all I could say about the SPOOs marching higher, tight range. Still got some room on the upside. Crude up 25 cents here at 63.55. Took a little haircut at the end of last week. Put a couple lows in here in the lower 62 handle, 62.28 and 62.46. We are on the rebound here. Been rallying late in the session. Folks, not much up here. Friday's high way up at 65.18. Maybe we just figure for a little scalp here, 66.60. We had about a 4-point move here off that 66.60 high. So any rebound up here into the mid 64 handle would not surprise me at all. As we know, crude is still in a bullish trend here. Gold down 680 at 1282 even, above 1280, below 1280. Just don't have any good numbers for you here in the gold market. Let me see if I can see anything on the charts. Well, if you were leaning on yesterday's high or Friday's high at 1290.90, you couldn't get that because the high was 1289.10. Your close was right in that area at 1288.80. So more the close than the previous day's high there for your resistance. So 1290, big level moving forward. On the downside, current low 79.90. Gosh, man, I guess 1267.90. That was your low on April 23rd. That's your support, but nothing fancy there. Nothing going on in the gold market. Why own gold when you can own stocks is what I would like to say. Let's move on. Let's move on to the top components in the S&P 500. See if we can find any discernible trading patterns. Then we'll we'll touch on some of the earning stocks that we had from this morning, even though I erased them off my sheet there, so you guys might have to help me a little bit. We'll preview some of the earnings after the close. AK Steel, Rig, Western Digital, Google, one of the big daddies here. So we'll be taking a look at those stocks, see how they look ahead of their report, and preview some stocks for tomorrow morning. Big old day. I think 123 stocks report tomorrow, and I think 131 on Thursday. And then that kind of tops it out on earnings season. Some of your stocks tomorrow. Big health day. Pfizer, Lilly, Merck, just a few. Then you have good old government motors reports here, Mickey D's, MasterCard, Brinker International. So there's just a few of the reports that we have coming up Tuesday in the morning here. So we haven't had the opportunity here to recap the S&P top components here. We do have a change in it, and I didn't note the change here on my screen, but I know what it is, and I will tell you that when we get to our 10th component, our 10th or 11 components, because I like to count Google as one here. But Mr. Softy, up 12 cents. Big report on Thursday. Or no, we had that report on Friday. Or no, when was that report? That report must have been after the close on Wednesday. You see the trading action from Thursday and Friday. Things are calming down a little bit here. The good news is that you're poised to post a new all-time closing high. That closing high from Friday, 129.89, currently trading at 130. All-time high, 131.37, came up shy in the last two sessions here. So even though we're poised to make a new all-time closing high, sellers have been coming in, taking some profits perhaps off that big report. I'm not looking for any major downside here until Mr. Softy takes out 128.83. That was your low on earnings day, and then you got a gap down to 125.85. So if you're trying to protect some profits on a long there or some calls that are working your way, still safely above that gap area and about $1.20 away from falling into that area. Apple, after the close tomorrow, up 76 cents here. Big old pre-earnings run here. Big old run since the day that they warned back here on the first day of the trading year. We've drifted higher into the report, but to think you just got a little booking of profits here ahead of it. You did hit 208.48. Back on Wednesday. That filled the gap and coincided with nothing. Oh, the only thing it coincided was your November 8th close of 208.49. So market has memory, but we'll see what happens with the earnings here from Apple. Pre-earnings run. It's a little profit taking ahead of it. Things can go, of course, either way off a report and then whatever guidance they give. Google not being shy here ahead of its report, making a new all-time high here, up $14.91. What can you say about this? Charts at a new all-time high. Going into report, I think the expected move on this is maybe $49, I heard, $35 or $49. That's a big move for you straddle players. Jeez, I don't know, man. This thing has just been really quiet. It hasn't had that bigger ranges, so we'll see how it reacts off the report. Also poised to make a new all-time closing high. Should easily do that. We're 15 bucks above the close from Friday at 1272.18. Amazon, little red here in Amazon, up $7.15. New high for the move, by a couple bucks, and then we've turned around. 1951, your high on Friday. 1956.34, your current high today. Trading in the red, just a little profit taking here, and a seller 1950 handle, 1951, 1956.34. So with a higher price strike like that, you got to give it some room here. So you do have a seller between 1950 and 1960 on the downside. Absolutely no downside here for Amazon until you take out 1900. Believe it or not, those were your 3 and 4 day lows. Probably won't move a whole lot off the Google report as they've already announced their earnings. So we'll see if they can find another catalyst here to get it back to 2000. The all-time high 2050.50. The all-time closing high 2039.51. Financials. I don't know if anybody's been listening, but I've been talking about these financials. Berkshire Hathaway on a tear, getting back all these losses here. I believe that was from I don't know if that was a Kraft Heinz day. I think it is here. So slow, steady rise for Berkshire Hathaway. Next daily target, 220.28. That was your high from December 4th. And just talking about the financials, I know I talked about this XLF chart yesterday. That had been bunching up at the 2750 area. Took that out on Friday. Nice follow through today. similar to your Bank of America. I actually did catch this one a little bit because it just sat at that 30 and a quarter area for too long. Spread it into 31 handle, 31.17 out of most of that trade just because it's a weekly option. The high that you made at 31.17 coincides with your 31.20 high from September 24th, but holding a little bit here for a 2-day move. But I believe I was selling the 30 and a halves at one point for 70 cents. So that's equivalent of 31.20. And as you know, the closer you get to Friday, these are options that expire on Friday. They just kind of wring the juice out of them. So that's Bank America. I wanted to skip over to that since we were talking financials. Facebook sold off the day after earnings, but back on the rebound here. Try to get into the gap area. We have a gap down to 185.14, but buyers came in pretty early on this one, and we are trading just off the highs of the session. 195 is your current high, just trading 15 cents below that. Next target for me, 198.48. That was a high on earnings day, and we did trade some of the 200 handle on that day. So a little bit of profit taking at Facebook after the report, but once again, on being strong today. Johnson & Johnson in the red by 45 cents here. We've just been talking about this 140 handle. Consistent sellers here over the last couple weeks. We've dipped our head above it. You got your close off on Friday at 140.39, but they could not improve off that much off the open, only going to 140.43, and then getting a little red on the session. Haven't taken out yesterday's low. You got an inside day going here in Johnson & Johnson, so we will see if it holds the inside day, perhaps play a move below 139.31, and perhaps a breakout above. I'd have to go almost 141 in this since we've stalled so many times in the 140 handle. As I mentioned, a lot of big drug companies reporting today. Johnson & Johnson, a little bit mix of a drug company, consumer products. So we'll see if it moves off the Pfizer or Merck reports. JP Morgan giving a boost to the financials. Gap and go after earnings just has not relented. Similar to Bank of America, and I don't know how closely you guys or gals watch stocks right before the open. But if you were watching Bank of America, it was traded down 2 or 3 cents, and then it was flat. And then, boom, immediately it was up 10, 12, 14 cents. It's traded kind of indication, someone got a little jump on things with the buying. They got that big old order. They started going after it in the pre-market. We still up 64 cents at 30.99. That low right there, 30.41. That was the low that coincided perfectly, not perfectly, pretty darn close from Friday's high. That was 30.39. So someone really wasn't caring about that 2-cent gap, trying to close over 31 for the first time since, when did we close? We closed 31.03. This was back in September of last year. So perhaps paper reloading at 31, even though we did run up to 31.20 on the session. Exxon Mobil down 30 cents, 34 cents here at 80.15. In the red, low crude in the green. Got hit off its report on Friday. I believe it was Friday those reported. And just looking like a tired stock. Got a gap to fill on the upside. Not in danger of that until you take out the high from Friday at 80.63. Pair of matching lows, 79.56 and 79.66. So weak market, weak oil. You take out those pair of lows here, and this nice little run in Exxon Mobil may be drawing to a close. We did mention during this run up here between 81 and close to 84, a lot of institutional sell, big institutional sell orders at the half and whole numbers. And a lot of times that might be an indication, not for like a day trade or a swing trade, but when the institutions are throwing offers like that, they want out of the stock and they probably won't re-enter until much lower levels. We did cover Bank of America popping in to the top 11 components for the first time. Let's welcome Visa Inc. here. Market cap moving it up. So it has replaced Bank America in that coveted number 10 spot. New all-time high for this one, 164.26. Excuse me, trading right off that high. Currently 163.03. That was your high from Friday. Didn't even get there. 163.10, your current low. So keeping an eye on 163 here if you are looking for a pullback. Let's move on. We covered these top stocks here. Just popping in, Daniel over on the Real Life Trading Slack is asking for a review of ACB today. I don't know if Dan's around, but whew. This baby is winding up for a move. I wish I could look at my crystal ball and tell you which way. But look at all those lows, 896 to 9 even, 895 the low today. The rallies, all the rallies over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sessions are capped at 914. So, man, oh, man, I don't know if you can make any money playing a straddle or strangle on this one, but ACB here, tight consolidation. I'm looking for a big move on this one. Perhaps 9.25 will get it back towards that $10 level. If you just exhaust the buyers here at $9 and just below, big O major support at 845, 845, and 846. Those were your lows from April 15th and 16th. The low since the Nelson Peltz news has been 838. So some big levels shaping up here in, what is that? That's Aurora Cannabis. Let's talk about some stocks that, who reported this morning, folks? I messed up my notes here. And let me see. Let me go to my new screener here and see if I can find out who reported today. Monday is usually a little bit quieter day as companies don't report. Very few report Friday after the close and on Monday, but we will get much busier throughout the remainder of the week for earnings. But let me see if anybody notable reported today, or anybody in the chat. You always pop in with an earnings stock or stock that you're looking at today. And what am I seeing here for April 29th here? For companies reporting, not a ton. We got a lot more after the close, but just let me see. Let me highlight Spotify here. That's the only one I'm going to cover from this morning. Spotify, they couldn't hold those gains. A little bit of a downtrend going into earnings. You got the pop off earnings, 144.40 open, 145.46. That's just shy of a couple highs you had over 145. Turned around and reverse course. Big range in this one today. We'll be keeping an eye. Oh, boy, couple lows. I say 132. 132.21 was your April 25th low, but not getting a big bang here off its earnings report. In fact, it was faded, and that's not a great sign moving forward here from Spotify. Also, you had that negative coverage of Barron's. I believe that was a little over 1 week ago. Now, let's take a look at some stocks that will be reporting after the close today. We already mentioned the Googster. Big move expected. I don't know if we're going to see that. We'll see if it's a big miss or a big beat here. These tech companies have been Facebook and Amazon and Netflix. Let's see if the G and FANG can keep up with the higher expectations of the other FANG stocks. Also reporting after the close, Lumber Liquidators, a storage stock, got beat up under $10. Nice rebound here. Important area of resistance off the report, 13.17 and 13.15 were your highs in the last two sessions. That coincided with some highs that you had in early December. So above 13.20, looks like we got some nice move up the upside in lumber liquidators. On the downside here, not seeing a lot. If we go into reverse, I see a couple lows at the 12.20 area. You can use that as support. If you want to be a little bit tighter on this, Friday's low 12.68, today's low 12.67. So I'd look for the downside there if it breaks 12.67. Also, rig due to report. That stock had a nice run up with oil, gave it back pretty quickly, but you got some support at the 860 area, a couple lows from the last two sessions, another low in that area in April. So there's your support on this one. If not, we're looking at $8 and below. On the upside, the recent high of the move came in at 979, haven't been in double digits since December. I believe you touched the $10 area. So I think that you're going to see some resistance or good resistance at 10 even. Two highs, December 3rd, 997, December 4th, 1003. So that's how your rig is setting up. Your Western Digital reports that stock had got hammered, came off its lows of the session. That just got hit with all the other chip stocks on Friday. 51.54 is your high. So you got a gap up into this one to 51.53. But if you're really looking for the major resistance off the report, 54.60. That presents three highs in a row, April 23rd, April 24th, and April 25th. The recent high of the move, 55.44, and that was flanked by two other highs just below that. So Western Digital setting up nice technically here above its report. Blue Apron, does anybody really care about Blue Apron anymore? Evidently not. Just hanging out at $1. If you buy it here, the most you can lose is $1.05. Also, Yum China due to report. Yum China, nice run up here. We do have a seller in the 45 handle. Your last two highs, 45.11, 45.16. On the downside, if we crack 44 or call it 43.90, there were three lows you had last week, so under 44. Considerable downside here for the issue. I can't even say considerable because I see another double bottom at 43.72. So tight going ahead of the report. We'll see what Wall Street does with it once it actually does come out with the report. As for Yum China, tomorrow we got a host of big boys reporting in the healthcare sector. We have Pfizer, PHE, getting shellacked. Along with these other healthcare stocks, recovered over the last two sessions. A big old seller at 40 here. Your high, 39.99 on Friday, 40.02. This would be the one that I think a candidate that if you did get a major pop off earnings, Pfizer usually doesn't move that much. Higher pop maybe at the $41 area. 41, what's this high back here? 41 even, high on April 17th. It opens up into 42.30. So we'll see what Pfizer does off its report. Lilly, due to report after the close as well. Eli Lilly, similar situation, got shellacked, coming back. Sellers congregating at 120. 120.01, your high from the day. 119.92, your high on Friday. And then another high at 120.06. So Lilly, looks like we have some room on the upside if we can finally break into that 120 handle. MasterCard, I'm sure the stock is trading at new all-time highs. That reports after the close up $1.34. So I'll just keep an eye on that closing price for today as a swing area going into the after hours session and also for trading tomorrow. Excuse me. Another big boy due to report in the healthcare sector. Merck same, you could just overlay all these charts on top of each other. Got whacked, came back, finding sellers here. The sellers now are at 777 and just above 77.18 represents your high for today. You've backed off, but not far. Also, you just might want to figure if Merck does get a big boost here. You did come off very, very hard off this recent high at 83.85. We'll call that 84. You had to move down to 70. Just call 78. I'll call 78 your major resistance on a good report. Nothing in the dailies to confirm that. 77.62, April 17th high, and then a pair of highs at 79.29 and 79.49. So taking a look at Merck. Also, due to report after the close, Mickey D's new all-time high on Friday. Came up just short of that today. 198.60, your high on Friday. 198.36, your current high. So keeping an eye on those levels. Of course, the psychological $200 level, since Mickey D's has never traded there. That could just be a number. On the downside, I can say 195.34 and 40. That 195.34 was your low on April 24th. Today's low, 195.40. So if that falls by the wayside, I think you could see a little over a buck drop to 193.38 and 190. If you really want the good support in this one, I'd have to call it 191.50, as you see three lows between 191.37 and 191.66 on April 16th, 17th, and 18th. Also, the last one I'm going to cover, and then you guys get some of you guys and gals can get some of your symbols ready. Generous Motors, Government Motors, whatever you want to call it. That reports after the close today. See if we can follow the lead from Ford Motor Company. Trying to close over 40. I guess you did get one close at 40.30 on April 18th. The recent high here has been 40.45, and then we kind of got a little bit crazy in March. I don't know if this was a disclosure of a big stake by somebody, but the recent high, the move in General Motors has been 41.50. So this one's a thin one during the day. They'll be even thinner after the bell. Ford digesting that huge move from from Friday. Ford going back to being Ford. Tight range here. Couldn't get to yesterday's low. We got an inside day going. Volume is backing off here, so I think you're really going to need a good catalyst here to take it up above 1050. As they've already reported, the numbers are already out for for Ford. Not much going on in in ratings land today. Let me see if I could take a quick look. I said as I did erase some stuff out of my document, which I'm not happy about. But let me see if I could find any analyst ratings here that are of note. And I guess the big call here would be this upgrade by JP Morgan on CL after their report. And this was a nice one. They kind of hit it off it initially, but found support off the open, except there was really nothing to lean on because you had a flat, just a slightly lower open, then you had to dip to 70.79. Nothing there. That's a $1.30 off the low from Friday. Looks like we might get a double close here in the same area. 71.30 was your low on Friday. 71.40 is your current trading price. So let's see if we can make a new high close for the move here above $71. You got to do that above 71.30. Let's see here. LGF, Lionsgate was downgraded too. That is LGFB. Well, it got the downgrade, but they haven't punished it. institutional buyers here in the lower 14 handle. Friday's low 14.13. Two other lows 14.16 from today, and that matches Thursday's low. So not really bolting out of there, but a trio of lows here in Lionsgate ahead of its report. So that is another stock that we are talking about the ratings change. And let me also, Adobe got upgraded here at all-time highs. A gutsy move by that analyst, up $4. A gap and go, tough. The open probably didn't do you much here. You ran to 291.71, 285.38 lows. So I keep an eye on that 285.38. If that level is breached, you could easily have a gap fill down to the high from Wednesday at 279.52. S&P's just hanging out here near the highs of the session. That current high 51.50. A little bit of a leak here. Nothing real concerning as of yet. Just going back to one other ratings. Summit. Not Summit. We had a downgrade here by, where was the downgrade that I wanted to focus on? We had a downgrade from Gordon Haskett on 3M. Thank you. After the report. Continued lower here, but I got a significant area. Three lows at the 189.50 area. So if you're trying to pick Triple M up off the swing trade, there you have the area to lean on at 189.50. If you're waiting to buy this on strength, a pair of highs, 192.19 and then 192.25. So that's how Triple M is shaping up here. I got one other rating that I wanted to cover, and that other rating was in ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, another consumer staple stock, getting a upgrade here from, who did ADM get the upgrade from? Upgrade from BMO Capital, from market perform to outperform, raise, big price target raise 50 to 51. But you know what? Street paid attention to this one. Buyers came in right off the opening bell. Sold off, got below the top of Friday's range, but nowhere near that close at 40.91. Your current lows is 41.42. So there's a wrap up of the top components in the index. There's some of the earnings that you had from this morning, a preview of the earnings after the close, and also Tuesday morning. So we got a big old day of earnings tomorrow. Options expiration, the monthly options, if you have any Aprils, though they do expire tomorrow. So just be careful on the trading in those. So folks, we still got a little bit of a crowd here. 3:35 Eastern Standard Time. Anybody in the chat? Is there any stocks that you traded with Jeremy today, or other stocks that are of interest to you? I can do my best to get you any fundamental news that's out there, or give you my best technical take. Clive or Dan, Arabia, everyone else that's in there, let me know if you have anything you want to take a look at. S&P starting to leak a little bit. Nothing to call the bear market or anything. But you are now 5 points off the high, 4 points off the high at 51.50 at 47.25. So once again, tight range. Not looking for major pullback here in the SPOOs until you take out 2944.75. That's mid-range on the session. Well, not seeing any tickers coming out of you guys, so you must be okay. What are you expecting from the SPY tomorrow? Well, doesn't the market go up just about every day, Arabia? Now, I'll tell you, I am more, instead of a predictive guy, I'm more of, how my technicals shape up after the close and to get my levels. So right now, way things stand here, 51.50 is going to be targeted on the upside. And that is the all-time high. We made a new all-time high today, so I think it's important through you press that area today. No downside, major downside until you take out. I'll look at the intraday low, but I like to concentrate on the 24-hour low. That's 29.37.75, and then there's really a big drop to Friday's low. From Slack, Daniel Rover wants to look at Intel, and you know what? Intel has my attention. And the reason, I just want to see if it's going to do like what it did off its last report. It got hit off its last report, took another like day or two, and then turned around and then rallied almost to $60. So, I don't know if the same thing is going to happen again here. You are making a new low, though, from yesterday, so that's not a good sign. There was some gaps in here to fill. Don't know if it's quite ready to turn yet, Daniel. Trading on the lows of the session. After that last, we had a gap and go. This was back in February. 51.06. That was your high on February 20th. So I use 51 here. Under 51, I think if buyers can't support it here, you do have some other daily lows. But if you get any kind of negative market, a rollover, a downgrade from Intel or from some of its peers, I'd say wouldn't it be out of the realm of possibility to see this trade down to $48? But once again, let's just wait to see if it forms like a double bottom. It had 3-4 lows in this area back in early and mid-February. You had a 50 even low on February 13th. So, if you're trying a little swing trade here, looking for a little retracement off earnings, Intel trying to put in a bottom here. We'll see what it comes up with the closing price and then how it trades at today's low as it took that out. You also could get the old swing trade where it does take out that low from today, tomorrow, and then comes back up through it. That way you can lean on that low, whatever the current low is tomorrow as a trade. But right now, no analysts have been coming out to defend the stock. And still some sellers. Maybe we'll wait for the volume to back off a little bit before we try a long swing trade. All right, folks, 3:38 here in the Motor City. I'm going to wrap things up. I'm glad that you were able to join me today. I was only like a minute late. I'm going to give it 3 more seconds before I get any more tickers. 1001, 1002, 1003. All right, for all of you that have joined me here on this cold Monday afternoon, thank you very much. Keep an eye on that pre-market high of 229.5150. And don't look for any major downside until we take out that Globex low from today at 2937.75. As we speak, we're 10 handles away from that. Everyone, have a great evening. Thanks for joining me. And as I said, be back with you tomorrow afternoon.